To do a refeed, as we call it. The reason we're doing a refeed is because she has an ostomy, so the output that goes through her digestive system comes out of the ostomy and typically does not go all the way through her large intestine and out the bottom. So by reintroducing her output into the ostomy, she's able to use the lower part of her intestines, and it can complete the cycle. So she's got a loop ostomy, which has two holes. One is where the output comes from, and we're going to use the other hole to reintroduce the output, and that's going to allow it to continue to flow through the lower part of her intestines. So we use this two-piece ostomy bag, which makes it easy to do this refeed. So we can remove the bag from the wafer when it's time to do a refeed. And you need to have lots of paper towels on hand because this can get messy. Now down here at the bottom is actually where her output comes from, and on the top is the hole where we are going to reintroduce her feeds. So I take this paper towel, and a lot of times I just kind of tuck it under the diaper because this is where the stuff's going to come out. I just want to make sure it's protected around here, or sometimes I'll just hold it in place with my hand. Need to have all of our supplies on hand before we get started. So here we've got a large catheter.
It's a 12 French catheter.
12 French, which we've already filled with her output from an earlier diaper change. And
or back change.
And we've got some lubricant here at the end of the catheter where we're going to insert it into her intestine. And this is a small 10 ml syringe that is inserted here. And we put 3 ml of water inside here. And there's actually a balloon at the end of this catheter that fills up once we stick it inside of her, and that prevents it from slipping back out. It kind of holds it in place once it's inside the intestine, and also prevents it from coming back out. So let me just show you real quickly how that's going to look inside of her. We stick this syringe in here. There you go. And then when we put the water in, it blows up this little balloon at the end, which just holds everything inside of her intestine as we are reintroducing that output. So that's what we're going to do. Take that back out. Now she's ready. I got this nice and lubed. Can sometimes be kind of tricky to find the right spot, but this is going to go right here, in your hole. We've got it marked with a marker how far in we would like it to go to make sure that everything stays in place. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of push. Don't want to push too hard because you can damage her if you puncture the intestine or something. But so if you feel a little bit of resistance, I just kind of wiggle it and move it in a different direction and see where it goes. With her, it seems that typically an upward direction kind of works well, but we go there until we find some resistance and then kind of wiggle it around a little bit more. And I want to make sure it goes all the way up to the line that I've marked right here. So there we go. I'm up to the line. I usually like to get a little bit further if I can. So and you'll feel it slip and slide once you get a good spot. So that's in there pretty well. I'm going to hold on to this because it's very slippery inside there. I'm going to go ahead and insert the water from the small syringe into the balloon. It's going to blow it up inside of her intestine, hold everything in place, and keep prevent any backflow. remove that one. Now it's in place, and I like to hold on to this tube because, like I said, it can slip out because it's very lubricated. And now it's good to kind of wrap the paper towel around because this can get messy as she's still stooling while we're doing this sometimes. So I'll hold this part with my fingers, and now I can start to reintroduce this output. We usually go about 10 mils at a time. If we put too much in all at once, it can flow back out. So we do about 10 mils at a time. That usually works well. And then we just wait a couple minutes for it to kind of absorb or trickle down, and then we'll go again. So just going to slowly insert about 10 mils of this output. And this is very slow. This whole process usually takes us about 20 minutes or so because we, like I said, we do just a little bit at a time. And we give it a few minutes in between each little push.
2 minutes around.
So now we just wait. Okay, so we just finished the last bit of the syringe, so we've inserted everything. And as you can see here, some of it comes out, either a backflow from what we've inserted, or maybe more output coming from the lower part of the intestine. But you can see that the paper towel has gotten a little bit messy, so that's why we use the paper towels. And we do have some extras on hand if we needed them. But basically that's kept everything dry and clean here. So we're ready to take it out. I'm going to just set this back while we're removing the tube. So I'm going to take the 10 ml syringe again and just stick it back in here. Forgot to mention before, the reason we take the syringe out after we've inserted the water is because it will flow back out just from the internal pressure by itself. So when I stick this back in here, I actually don't even need to pull back on it. It'll just, once I insert it, the pressure itself will cause the syringe to fill back with the 3 milliliters. I can pull back on it, but it'll do it on its own if I don't. And that's why we have to pull the syringe out after we've inserted the water to fill up the balloon. So another thing that we forgot to mention is that the best time to do this is at nap time, because then the baby is more likely to sit still and endure it. So the 3 mils of water is back in the syringe, so I can pull this out, or just pull the tube out. The balloon has been emptied, so I can remove the tube. There's a little bit of backflow coming out, so I always usually try to do these things kind of slowly to make sure there's not too much that comes back out with it. So I'm gonna just clean this area up a bit with some of my extra paper towels here. Make sure the ostomy site is clean, that the bag is not getting wet or dirty. And there's some more coming out as she's squeezing her gut. So usually when you take out the tube, it's good to have your ostomy bag nearby and ready to stick back in to catch any more output as it comes out. So I'm going to reconnect this 2-piece bag. Make sure it clicks everywhere. And that's it. We're done.